And we're live. Welcome to Startup TNT Week 195. It's top 20 pitch night for our inaugural Agtech Investment Summit. My name is Jesse Weave. I am one of the Agtech co-leads, the lead for Saskatchewan, and a startup evangelist.
And I'm Hassan Nakvi, the other co-lead for Agtech. I'm also an ambassador for StartPT in Regina and a TNT investor.
Yeah, and also, did you know that this man flies, like for real, like in jets, like just like Maverick?
Yes, Jesse, that's right. My day job, I do fly jets, but I wouldn't say just like Maverick. I certainly don't have the face or the hair.
Well, if you disagree and you think Hassan is awesome, let him know about it in the chat. Let's get that chat going with awesome comments, because we're super happy to be here coming to you live from Saskatchewan in the beautiful Canadian prairies.
Yes, that's right, Jesse. But tonight, to start off, I'd like to start with an acknowledgement. Startup TNT, along with our partners, want to recognize that we share a love of telling stories. And telling stories is an integral part of what we do together in the community. Even though we're not physically in the same venue tonight, we are all still connected through the one land that we share, wherever we may physically be.
Tonight, we honor those elders whose stories this land carries, and we acknowledge that this land is the traditional territory of the people of Treaties 1 through 11. This land was a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route to the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, and Dene peoples. We acknowledge the nations of the Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Nakota Sioux, Siksika, Piikani, Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis.
We acknowledge all who have walked on this land before us. We aim to create a safe space for all Indigenous communities at TNT. Tonight, we honor their mission to gather the community and share stories.
Right. Storytelling has been a part of this land for generations, and we've got a lot of amazing stories to weave into the great tapestry tonight as we continue to tell the story of this place. And I would like to tell a quick story about Startup TNT. It was 2 years ago now that we hosted our first sector summit, Clean Tech, as well as our first Saskatchewan summit with our friends at Valhalla.
That's right, Jesse. It was 2 years ago when TNT first started expanding across the prairies.
Yeah, and now we're here hosting the first ever Agtech Summit on the same night as our Life Sciences and Clean Tech Summit Top 20. And we've got companies from all across the prairies joining us tonight.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Yeah, and it's an even bigger journey for Startup TNT. All right, let's throw up that logo wall. Look how crazy it is. These are all the companies that we've invested in since we started doing summits in Q1 of 2020. It's been 195 weeks that we've been hosting Startup TNT happy hours, and we've managed to build companies together while having fun and making friends, right, that make up this logo wall here. We've got B2B SaaS companies, life sciences, marketplace, clean tech, ag tech. There's even space tech on there. Some crazy, amazing stats.
That's right. These are some amazing companies. And we plan to add even more investments to this logo wall in the next 6 weeks. But what I love the most out of all this is the personal stories that are behind the logos. We've been doing this for 195 weeks, starting at Edmonton, and now we're across all 5 major prairie cities. And we've been doing this by having fun and making friends on Thursday nights.
Yeah, it's all about building real connection at Startup TNT. And that's what happens. When that happens, it's what makes this ecosystem move forward, right? And the TNT happy hours are a big part of that. The relationships that have been born out of those happy hours form the foundation for this great community and has led to us being able to invest over $9 million into 65 companies from over 250 angel investors.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Jesse, we have to make sure we give a great big thank you to our amazing organizing partners involved in this inaugural Agtech Summit. These are the folks who support Startup TNT and the founders that are in our summit.
Right. We'll be getting to know a lot of them throughout the night. We're very, very happy to have them here. There's too many for me to go through, but I have to acknowledge our BFFs. We've got our FCC and CBRE, and we're very happy that they're here to support our work to expand the pool of invested agtech companies here in Western Canada.
Yeah, that's right, Jesse. What a better way to celebrate TNT than with our best friends forever.
Absolutely, right? And you've got even more friends, right? We've got a bunch of other best friends. We've got AgWest Bio, Bose, Accelerate Fund, who've all stepped up to support this summit. And we've got our core funding partners at Innovation Saskatchewan, who have not only put some money towards the summit, but are also graciously hosting us for a watch party tonight in Regina, and will be hosting us at that same venue for the finale on March 23rd. And then, of course, we've got our community supporters, Foresight, Deal Closer, who helps us sign all the docs, and Olds College, right? But why are we here in the first place? Well, we're here to invest in startups, right? So why do we invest in startups, Hassan?
That's a really good question, Jesse. There's lots of reasons why angel investors want to invest in early stage startups. Obviously, to find that one magic startup that goes to the moon is a good reason, but there's more importantly, what I hear from a lot of investors is the reason they want to get involved is they want to be a part of something exciting and new, a new and exciting idea, and they want to support the hardworking founders that have the courage to bring those ideas to reality.
Absolutely. And don't forget that these companies, well, they need a lot of money, and they're going to need a lot of money, even more money than we're going to be able to raise in this summit. They're going to need a lot more to be successful.
That's right. They need the support of a whole community, which is everybody that's on this call tonight.
Right. So let's find out, how does this summit work, and let's dive into how people can help us out.
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. So for those that are new to Startup TNT, this is basically how the summit works. First of all, I want to start by saying it's not a pitch competition. No one's going to win because they did a great presentation one time. The winners are going to be decided by the due diligence that is carried out by our group of investors. Each investor has pre-committed $5,000, and they're going to be we're going to group that into a lump sum that's going to be go to one company at the end of the summit. The investors and the founders are going to be meeting throughout the next 6 weeks to make sure that we can pick out which company is the best one. And then in the end, the investment decision will be made live in the summit finale, March 23rd.
That's right. And many of our investors, they're new to this, but we're really excited to have them on board and have them committing to this process. So what is the summit all about? What are the numbers behind the summit? Let's take a look. Well, we got over 20 investors that have signed up. I know we're calling it top 20 pitch tonight, but we're actually going to have 19 pitches tonight. Unfortunately, one company wasn't able to make it. But we've had over 90 tickets sold for this event. There's a lot of people on the Zoom call already. There's even more over on YouTube. And we've got 5 after parties, which makes for one epic night here at Startup TNT with the Agtech Startup, the Agtech Investment Summit top 20 pitch night. And yeah, who's pitching?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We gotta know who's pitching.
Yeah, and these are the companies that are going to be pitching tonight. I'm not going to read off all their names, but we've got we got everything from plant protein companies to vertical farming companies to herd management. We even a company with robots. I mean, I hope these robots have lasers on them.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm keeping my eye out for that pitch for sure. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping here real quick, right? I want to make sure everyone's got that energy up. We're going to be seeing 19 pitches at 3 minutes each. It's going to be a lot. And we've also got a couple minutes of Q&A. Our co-hosts are going to introduce each company, right? And then we've got investors and VC firms, organizing partners, helping us out with the Q&A, right? We want all of you to be cheering on the presenters in the chat, letting them know how much you love the fact that they're putting themselves out there. They put in blood, sweat, and tears to bring themselves here to this moment, right? And it's important for us to acknowledge everything that they've been through and take a moment to celebrate them, right? And also take a moment to think about how you can help the companies here tonight. Hey, Hassan?
Yeah, that's right. We want to make sure that we think about what we can do to help all these companies, like you said, with referrals, connections, and any other help that they may need to get their ideas off the ground.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just throw them in the chat. We'll make sure the founders are ready and willing to answer your questions in the chat. And don't forget, after all this is over, we've got some awesome things, after parties coming on after that.
Yeah, that's right. We got after parties in 5 cities across the prairies, and we've already got some beer sponsors going. We got $25 from Crystal, $40 from Christopher, $20 from Blaine, $100 from Stephanie. We got $250 from Zach and Tim each, the co-founders of Startup TNT. That's amazing. Anyone else who wants to donate, just go to send an email out to cheers@startuptnd.com.
Yeah, and we'll be doing more shout outs later in the show. So if you want to hear a shout out with your name on it, make sure you throw in there at cheers@startuptnd.com. everything we do at Startup TNT is about community. So I hope the community can rally behind us and come out tonight. Well, and then with that, that's the agenda for tonight. Let's get going. We got to get it started. So it's my pleasure to bring on our first co-host of the evening, and as well as our core funding partner, Kevin Chung with Innovation Saskatchewan, who is representing Innovation Saskatchewan tonight. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing great, Jesse. Thanks for having us, and thanks to TNT for putting on another great night of pitches and after parties.
Yeah, we're really excited to be here. Look at this. I finally get a chance to see the full faces, everybody that's on this call. Really excited to be here. There's people coming in from across the prairies. I know a lot of people here in Saskatchewan, they know about you and know what you do. But why don't you let us know a little bit more about what is Innovation Saskatchewan and what is the work that you do?
Yeah, sounds good. So for those of you who don't know about us, we are the Saskatchewan government's central agency for innovation, which means that we provide programs to support startups like the Agtech Growth Fund and the Saskatchewan Technology Startup Incentive, or the investment tax credit that we offer. And we also manage the 2 research parks, one in Saskatoon and one in Regina, that provides space to our startups and innovative companies all around the province. So if you are a founder or company that's looking for space or funding support, or if you're raising a round and you're looking for some tax credit for your eligible investors, please feel free to come talk to us. We'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, and a lot of those things you mentioned are for Saskatchewan companies, but in particular, those research parks and some of the programs and some of the other organizations in those parks, that's for anybody, right?
That's right. Yeah. Again, if I think the Agtech ecosystem here in Saskatchewan is growing and growing very fast. And for those founders who are interested in being a part of the ecosystem, we'd love to have you at the parks. So.
Awesome. Yeah, they're great parks. If you haven't been to them before, come check them out. Come to the finale on March 23rd. They're going to be at one of the research parks. My colleague Hassan is actually right now running around trying to get the watch party going at the park down in Regina, where we'll be hosting the finale. But real quick, before we get going with the pitches, why did Innovation Saskatchewan decide to support the Agtech Investment Summit? Like, why is Agtech so important to you?
Yeah, great question, Jesse. I feel like we've been looking forward to this summit for quite a while, and it's finally here. As you know, I think most of the people here would know ag is a big part of Saskatchewan, big part of the economy, the culture. We've seen some great ag tech companies come out of Saskatchewan, and I think it's really important for us to continue the investment to help our companies grow, scale, and get their products to not only farmers here, but across the world. So I'm happy to be supporting the summit and looking forward to all the pitches tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks for that summary of the work you do. And we're so thankful for your support. And I'm super pumped to announce the winner with you at the finale on March 23rd. So with that, let's get into the pitches. One of these 19 companies that are going to be pitching tonight is going to be that winner. So kick us off. But before I do, just real quick, I got to introduce our Q&A is going to be done by John Cassidy at SVG Thrive. And he'll come on right after the first pitch. So Kevin, take us away and lead us into the pitches. Let's get it going.
Sounds great. So I will kick us off by introducing our first company, which is Hempalta, and Darren Bonder will be first up on the stream. So everyone, please welcome Darren.
Hey everybody, my name is Darren Bonder and I'm president and CEO of Hempalta. We're a Calgary-based ag tech company focused on innovative hemp processing and product creation. Our company was chosen this year to be part of the Thrive Accelerator program and recognized by Foresight 50 as one of Canada's most investable clean tech companies. I'm personally celebrating 25 years of being an entrepreneur, and the last company we built was Spirit Leaf, which ended up being the largest chain of recreational cannabis stores in Canada with over 100 locations when we sold it in 2021 for $131 million. And here I am today, a startup CEO, entrepreneur expert, building another great company. and providing an opportunity for investors like you to be part of this early seed round and ultimately to win the TNT pitch competition. While I was in the cannabis business, I started to become quite interested in the hemp fiber opportunity. I was watching and wondering why farmers were growing industrial hemp and selling the seed for food, but across southern Alberta and Saskatchewan, there were thousands of massive hemp bales that once cultivated were either being burned or just left to decompose as agricultural waste. So in 2022, myself, along with my core group of shareholders, including well-recognized entrepreneur and dragon Brett Wilson, purchased a prototype industrial hemp plant that was under development for 7 years. The engineering company was able to completely revolutionize hemp decortication, but the business needed our secret sauce of branding, company development, sales, and capital expertise, and Hempalta was born. So how it works, we obtain biomass from local farmers, providing them another revenue stream for their hemp crop and eliminating the agricultural waste issue. We then process it through our advanced state-of-the-art hemp train system and get 4 output streams, which gives us a competitive advantage versus the 2 the traditional decortication systems produce. We then add our value-added magic to these streams and process them into game-changing consumer products with robust margins. Our products are already in over 150 points of retail and most major e-commerce channels. The 2 products that I want to highlight today are unique to Hempalta and we believe help solve some of the world's biggest challenges. We can help reduce food waste with the Hemp Fresco food preservation pads, and we can help homeowners achieve net zero homes with our hemp-based insulation. We're well on our way as we're about to install our automatic packaging solution and we'll be quadrupling our plant capacity right on our existing site over the next 18 months. We have the most amazing team who have worked together and done this before to generate outstanding returns, along with some added expertise in hemp processing and manufacturing. We have good governance with a formal board of directors and a terrific group of advisors, along with a strong group of shareholders, and of course, the support of Farm Credit Canada. We've been very successful in our $1.8 million seed round and only have 27% left, which is just enough for the TNT conglomerate and will result in a 7.5 post-money valuation. We're a first mover, a clean tech leader, and one of the only commercial scale industrial hemp processors in North America. We've got an experienced and proven team that knows how to execute on all levels and realize top returns for our shareholders while positively contributing to a healthier and sustainable planet for all of us.
Great pitch. I can go now, Jesse, right? Kevin, I'm good to go. Darren, I'm glad you mentioned your participation in our program at the start. So I've probably asked you many questions over the last couple of weeks and delighted to have you on board. One thing would be great to talk through is you mentioned the stores and that you're in terms of selling the product. What do margins look like for that? And then following on from that, what are your growth plans across Canada, but also broader as well?
Yeah, our margins are very healthy. I mean, we buy this, which is agricultural waste, for an average of about 8 cents a pound. And by the time it's finished processing, we realize $5 to $10 a pound. So it's very appealing to me as an entrepreneur to be a vertical manufacturer. So, it creates a lot of opportunity for healthy margins for both ourselves and our retailers. And then we just plan to expand that retail distribution right across the country. We're in some major chains. Just actually received one of our largest orders yesterday from one of those chains. So our products are getting great traction and a lot of interest from retailers who also need to meet their ESG mandates.
And I know we've 2 minutes here, but just leading on, outside in Canada alone, are your geographical presence, is that national, and do you plan to go outside of Canada?
Yeah, we're in retailers right across Canada, but we've got a big focus on the US, particularly for the hemp insulation product, where it was just added to the US building code effective January 1st, 2024. So we see huge export opportunity and growth in the hemp insulation.
Great. Okay. That was so concise. Well done on your pitch.
Thank you.
Where's our moderator gone?
Back to Kevin.
Thanks, Darren, for a great pitch. And we're going to keep things going. We've got Michael Launer from Annelida Organics up next. Welcome, Michael, to the stream.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much for your time today. I'm Mike Lawner with Annelida Organics. Annelida is an innovative ag tech company providing growers all natural agricultural solutions to help enhance soil biology and plant yield while reducing conventional inputs. Traditional chemical fertilizers lead to the depletion and degradation of our soils. Driven by global mandates, there's a need to adopt more sustainable practices. Our goal is to provide solutions to farmers to achieve those targets. Healthy soil biology is the answer. The green and sustainable aspect of what we're doing is really exciting. Every week, we divert over 100,000 pounds of green waste from ending up in the landfill and feed that into our proprietary system that utilizes 80 million red wiggler worms. Simply put, for every pound of food we feed these worms, they generate 3/4 of a pound of worm castings, worm poop, essentially nature's best plant food. In essence, we're efficiently utilizing food waste to produce products that aid in food production. These castings are the building block for the many certified organic products that we produce in liquid, granulated, and blended forms. Annelida has several revenue streams focusing on agriculture and horticulture. We currently are selling our products through strategic distributors throughout Canada and the US and aim to expand to a broad network of partners globally. We're developing programs to capture revenue for the green waste diversion, as well as our data science unit, enabling us to develop predictive analytics that will drive our sales and optimize soil nutrient and yield metrics. We've developed several state-of-the-art production facilities. Our IP is replicable, scalable, and deployable in any municipality. Our worms double in mass every 6 months, not only giving us the ability to scale up production, but acts as a barrier to market to anyone else looking to compete. We have built an outstanding team with a significant skill set, along with a strong board of advisors. Our microbiology and agronomy team are working extensively with multiple growers and agricultural institutions to carry out additional research and trials, further advancing our expertise and programs' effectiveness on combating soil degradation worldwide. We've completed several independent growth trials and rendered great results time and time again. Our side-by-side trials using full conventional program versus reduced rate programs paired with the Annelida technology produce an average of 20 to 25% yield increase, while the cost per acre remains relatively unchanged. Annelida products produce results. Our revenue grew 5 times in 2021 and doubled again last year. We're forecasting exponential growth in the near future as we finalize our contracts with major players in the industry and aggressively expand to international markets. This is really just the beginning. We see the opportunity to place an Annelida facility in every region around the globe. Soil health is the future of regenerative agriculture, and Annelida is the proven solution. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Great pitch there. They keep saying ag tech isn't a sexy industry, but I don't think you can get more sexy than worm poop. So, but it was really enjoyed that and good to have you as part of our program as well this year. You mentioned there you've grown 5 times in revenue, which is extremely impressive growth for any startup, especially in the times we're in now. Can you talk us through how you got there? What was your strategy behind that, and the growth you mentioned? Could you provide a little color around how you're going to grow?
Well, you know, when we first got our first sale, it was the initial lockdown of 2020. So we did obviously have our hurdles to overcome to get in front of the growers, to get in front of the consumers, because we have our product and in retail outlets, you know, even into the ag space, et cetera. So it was really doing the trials and working with the universities and some of the institutions to show the results. And once we gained traction there, the word spread really rapidly. So we were able to gain some significant traction in a very short period of time.
Great. No, that's really impressive. And I can kind of see questions come through on the chat box, but I'll ask the other one I had, and I'm sure you can answer other ones and take note of them. But the other one I had, what is actually defendable? So what's the IP on the business? You mentioned the process, but what actually is the defendable element?
Yeah, so we have several provisional patents in place on our process. So we've worked extensively and invested millions of dollars into the development of the biology that we create with these worms. We're not just feeding them one single source It's a nutrient diverse diet that we do feed the worms, and it's the process as to which they're processing that food waste. We also have patents on the liquid extraction, and that's really our key to market with large-scale agriculture, is we can create a concentrated liquid extract that's compatible with current liquid kits and even current conventional fertilizers. You don't have to do a second pass. It mixes well with it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Michael. Looking forward to seeing you in person very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much.
And back to Kevin.
Thanks, Mike, for the awesome pitch. Next up, we have Moran Mirandez from PrecisionPursuit Robotics. Welcome, Moran.
You got him there? Just can't hear you.
On mute, maybe.
Oh, we might be having some technical difficulties. We may need to jump ahead and come back.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry, the host, I couldn't unmute myself.
Okay, no worries. We had two people. Okay, there we go.
Sorry about that.
You're good to go.
Okay, yeah. My name is Moran Mirandez. I am the CEO of PrecisionPursuit Robotics. We provide robotic solutions for greenhouse labor automation. Our solution addresses 3 pain points: shortage of skilled workers, high cost of the labor, and risks of physical injuries. I have a short video clip here that shows my robot working in a nursery farm. It has a mobile base and a robotic arm that can reach out and grasp plant pots and put them on a rotary table on top of the robot and move them around. We are a team of 3. 2 of us have extensive background knowledge on robotics and automation, and 1 person with extensive background and knowledge on business administration. Day-to-day operation of nursery farms and greenhouses would rely on availability of skilled workers. They are labor intensive. Usually they are not digitized, and they would highly rely on continuous supervision. A sales model that I have includes the opportunity to provide our robot to the customers using a robot as a service model. Each robot will be leased at $100,000 for 5 years. The return of the investment is estimated at something between 1 to 3 years, depending on the size of the nursery farm. And the dollar value per plant pot spacing and delivery is estimated at 40 cents if it's done by human operators, and only 1 cent if it's done by our robot. We have 2 main competitors in this domain. One would be, of course, the human operators, and the other one is a robot called HV100 Harvester. However, our technology would lead these competitions in terms of lower downtime and a much faster speed. Smart greenhouse market is valued at $1.7 billion in 2023, growing at 9.4% per year. And this picture here shows the geographical market share: 60% in Asia Pacific region, 20% for Americas, and 20% for Europe. These are my projected milestones. In 23-24, I would like to raise $1 million to expand the team and run a pilot in a selected nursery farm. In 24-25, I'm aiming for a Series A fundraising in order to improve the performance of the robot and perhaps secure 10 more pilots in nursery farms and greenhouses. And hopefully by 25, 26, we can start for initial public offer. Here is my ask. I'm asking for $1 million investment in my company for 20% share. I have raised $520,000 through pre-seed funding so far. 80% of that has been used for product development and R&D, and 20% on infrastructure and administration. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. I know we're going a bit over time, so I'll just ask one question. Just in terms of your pricing model and the leasing side of that, could you explain the rationale behind that and how you came up with that plan?
Oh, okay. We had some back and forth discussions with our competitor, HV100, and we figured out at what price they are selling their robots. They are selling their robots each for $50,000. And based on that, we came up with this pricing. Having said that, they can carry only one pot at a time, but our robot can carry up to 8 medium-sized pots simultaneously, one at a time, thanks to the mechanism that we are using as a rotary table. So we can load up to 8 pots at once on the rotary table and move that around.
Okay.
So it would be 5 to 6 times faster than that.
Okay. And actually, I'm going to ask one last question, Dave, because I've seen something similar, but it didn't turn 360 degrees. And sometimes farmers want them to do that. Does your robot do that? Does it turn completely around?
Yes, it can turn around 360 degrees. Absolutely. And by the way, we have lasers on our robots as well.
Okay. Thanks very much. Great pitch. Kevin, over to you.
Thank you.
Actually, back to me and Hassan. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a great set of pitches there, JC.
Yeah, those are some really amazing pitches. I'm pretty impressed with how we got kicked off, even with the technical difficulties, rolling with the punches. That was great.
That's right. Yeah, and now we're moving on to the next series. We've got Ryan Subru from Cultivator ready to join us, along with Chris Edwards from Grassland Ventures, who's going to be asking the next group of founders the questions.
Tallgrass Ventures.
Tallgrass Ventures, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. So we got Ryan Subru. Is he?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
Thanks
awesome.
for the introduction, Jesse. It's great to be here. My name is Ryan Subru. I'm here on behalf of Cultivator, powered by Connexus. We are an industry agnostic technology incubator, but the anomaly that I'll focus on, which we have, is our Agtech Accelerator. It's an international program with a $60 million venture-backed funding. And so we support companies from across Canada and the United Kingdom. Our second cohort is going to be launching this March coming up, the week of March 20th. So anyone interested in coming to join that community, again, we'll have our entire cohort from across Canada, the UK, venture capitalists, industry, and subject matter experts, and kind of a whole host of the community in Regina, Saskatchewan for that week. So definitely come down if you're interested in any of that. And with that, I can introduce your next pitcher, John, on behalf of Canna Solutions. Please welcome John. Oh, you're on mute, John. There you go.
And share screen. Here we go. Almost there. Share. And let's do. Okay. Just give me one more sec. I just need to get it onto. God, just too many things open. Okay, well, we'll do it this way for now. I just can't get it into full mode. So hi, I'm John Vidmar. I'm the CEO of Canna Solutions, and it's a pleasure being here and being part of this summit. Currently, the cannabis industry creates about 8 kilograms of biological waste for every kilogram of product produced. CSS is focused on upcycling that waste. So if we currently look at what goes on in Canada, cannabis is divided into two different waste streams, the regulated and the non-regulated. Now, we at CannaStream, we've developed an extraction technology, a robust green extraction technology for the isolation of THC and other cannabinoids from cannabis waste. We have also been working on the development of both processes and products from this non-regulated biomass component. Now, if we look at the opportunity, the Canadian market sold $12 billion of cannabis products last year, and we've estimated that within the waste component, there's another $12 billion that just gets landfilled. In Alberta, which is the second largest cannabis market in Canada, it's worth about $1 billion on that waste portion. We feel with the technologies we are currently developing that we can actually access 20 to 50% of that value. Now, CannaStream was started in 2020 with the founders investing $250,000 into the company. In 2021, we completed our proof of concept of our extraction technology. We submitted a provisional patent, and we initiated our pre-commercialization, our pre-pilot scale work on our technology. In 2022, we patented, we submitted 2 patents for our green extraction technology. We completed the equipment purchase for a pilot scale processing line for cannabinoid extraction. We've signed an agreement with a cannabis processor, Token Naturals, in Edmonton, and we are now housed there. And we expect to start production and revenue next month. In addition, CSS has raised about $880,000 in non-dilutive funding supporting our work. CSS has an incredible team with 80 years of experience. Our knowledge covers technology, commercialization, waste utilization, and upcycling of biomass. CSS is looking for seed aid funding of $500,000 to support R&D, capital expenditures, and operational costs. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, great job there, John. Right on time. I feel your pain with the PowerPoint struggles.
Yeah, sorry, it's just trying to work everything out.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, saw that you're hoping to start revenue here in March.
Yes.
What kind of revenue are you expecting by the end of the year?
So we've estimated, so our line is a 15 to 20 kilogram line starting material of waste material. And we're looking at a revenue of about $2 million per year with that line.
Okay. Yeah, well, that sounds pretty decent. And is there any regulatory hurdles with
there are lots, but we've worked with Health Canada, and so our first waste material that we're looking at is trim, which is considered part of the flour. It goes for about 1/10 the price of flour, so it's a good starting material, especially if you want to start getting to revenue. And the highest barrier for extractions is the cost of your starting material. So with trim, we have to pay for it, but we are looking at a number of other waste streams that are a lot cheaper or free.
Yeah, that's great. Just one last question, kind of relates to the first one. Can you describe your pricing model?
Well, our pricing model, we're doing B2B. So we're, the extract, we're producing extracts, purified extracts, distillate. So we are basically within a commodity market, but because we have the ability to recycle our solvent, our costs are a lot less than ethanol or other extraction systems.
Okay, great. Good job and good luck out there.
Thank you.
Back to you, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Chris, and thanks, John. That was a great pitch. Up next, we're going to have James McQueen, who is going to be pitching for GrainFrac. So welcome, James.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Okay. My name is James McQueen, and I'm the CEO of GrainFrac. We make the plant proteins that go in plant-based foods, and we're here today to help solve one of the biggest challenges facing the plant-based industry, which is reducing cost. Now, despite some pretty phenomenal growth in recent years, major challenges remain that are preventing more mainstream adoption of plant-based foods. We've all seen the news recently and what's happening with companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods. The first generation of plant-based products simply didn't live up to the hype. They're too expensive, they don't taste great, and they're not good for us. But our growing world simply can't live on animal protein moving forward. It's just not sustainable. In order for plant-based to be a bigger part of the solution, we need to drive towards price parity with conventional proteins. And we also need to continue to raise the bar in terms of taste and nutrition for the products that are being created. At GrainFrac, our cost-efficient protein technology can help unlock the next significant wave of growth in plant-based foods. In terms of how plant proteins are made today using traditional technology, they really are coming up short. They're capital intensive, requiring very large plants, and the process to make plant proteins is very energy intensive. So this drives up production costs and results in those high prices on shelf for plant-based foods. At GrainFrac, we've developed a solution. We're building the next generation of extraction technologies. Our patent and patent pending process can reduce both the water and energy required to make plant proteins by up to 60%. This enables us to not only lower our production costs, but also reduce our carbon footprint. In addition to being a low OPEX technology, we're also low CapEx in that we're able to produce the same amount of output as a much larger facility, given we have a smaller, more compact and highly efficient platform. Our business model is straightforward. We're a B2B technology provider. We plan to license our ingredient technology to ingredient companies looking to make plant protein and charge a royalty per metric ton of ingredients sold. In 2022, we executed a number of successful pilots, both to validate the caliber of our ingredients and also seed relationships with some of the world's largest food and ingredient companies. What we also recently learned through these pilots is that our process also yields highly native, highly functional plant proteins with attributes that the industry is seeking. So for example, best-in-class solubility, which is one of the main attributes for plant-based dairy and milk. We're currently raising a seed round to scale up our capacity and accelerate our commercial traction in advance of developing a full-scale commercial prototype, which will also ultimately be housed in our pilot plant when we plan to be into revenue and scaling fast. We've got a strong leadership team with diverse but complementary backgrounds in fast-growing food companies, farming and agriculture, aligned with some of the brightest, most talented research minds in plant protein. And at GrainFrac, we're working towards making plant proteins better. We believe in a future where plant-based foods are more affordable and more accessible. And at GrainFrac, we're helping to create that future. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions. Chris.
Right on. Good job, James. Nice to see you again.
See you too.
Yeah. Couple questions. Whenever I talk to companies like you, texture always comes up. Can you describe like how important texture is?
For sure. I mean, it's one of the main attributes when it comes to whether it's mouthfeel in a plant-based dairy product. Having that solubility is key, so you don't get that grittiness. And then when it comes to plant-based meat and analogs, obviously having that sort of meat-like texture is important. So we've done a lot of testing in the plant-based dairy side, and as I was showing in the presentation there, the results have been tremendous in terms of the solubility of the product. We're working with Ripple, and we've tried Ripple with Ripple's current protein, the incumbent, and then Ripple with GrainFrac's protein, and it's completely indistinguishable. So we're really pleased with the solubility, and that's 100% an important attribute.
Okay. And then when we go back, I think you said there's a 60% reduction in water usage.
Yes.
Does that equate to 60% reduction in costs too, or what kind of cost savings are you?
Yeah, so when you're making plant protein, there's dry processing and wet processing. We have technologies that go across both types of processing. But as it relates, the majority of the water usage is happening during wet processing when you're purifying to like an isolate, which is what would be going in a plant-based dairy application. And we're estimating our cost reduction for wet processing is around 50 to 55% compared to traditional technology. And for the entire process, dry to wet, where you're taking a field pea through to an isolate, we're in the neighborhood around 40%.
Okay. No, that's great. Thanks, James. Good luck.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody at Startup TNT, and good luck, everyone.
All right, thanks, James, for the pitch. Up next, we're going to have Javed with DeepBlue Greens. So please welcome Javed.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Jared Sheikh. I'm an inventor and founder of DeepBlue Greens. Our startup helps indoor farmers to increase crop productivity by developing innovative high voltage products. Imagine if you could produce one of the most important plant nutrients from just air and water at the press of a button. Our patent pending plasma water generator allows farmers to generate plant nutrients on demand by running an electrically ionized airstream into water and producing nitrate-rich plasma water that enhances plant growth. Globally, demand for food is projected to increase by 50% by 2040, and indoor farming has been identified as one of the most productive solutions to address food security challenges. Although productive on a per square foot basis, the methods employed in indoor farms tend to be inefficient in terms of high energy use and low productivity. Our startup helps indoor farmers to reduce operating expenses while at the same time increase crop productivity. Our systems provide several additional benefits to farmers, such as enhanced seed germination, higher crop yield, disinfection of harvested produce, as well as extending shelf life of produce during storage. On-demand essential nutrient generation and full cycle enhancements are some of our competitive advantages. Currently, we are pursuing some very exciting opportunities in India and the UAE and are positioning our startup to gain traction through innovation programs. We are offering trial grows to strawberry farmers in Western India and have signed up agreements with 5 farms. Our revenue model is based on device sales plus annual maintenance fee. We are looking to raise $500,000 in pre-seed investment. We recently raised $250,000 in Saudi Arabia, and the funds raised at this stage will be applied toward manufacturing, offshore team expansion, and marketing. Currently, we are a small but diverse team with subject matter expertise and experience in commercializing innovative products. If what we are doing resonates with you, please connect. Thank you.
Great job. Thanks, Javed. The biggest question of the night, what is plasma water? I have no idea.
So plasma is basically just high voltage electrical arc that we produce, about 20 to 70,000 volt. And what that does is it ionizes the air. So air is basically 78% nitrogen, 20% oxygen. And what happens when air gets ionized, we dissolve the ionized nitrogen and oxygen into the water. And once that gets dissolved, we produce nitrate in the water, and we apply that nitrate water to the plants. And that's the field of plasma agriculture that's been in the works for almost 15 years now. So it's pretty recent field. So yeah.
Great. I'm really impressed with your traction. You know, it's not easy to get those commercial agreements signed. Can you tell us a little bit about more, like, are they paid trials, or what country are they in?
Yeah, so these are at-cost trials with strawberry farmers in India, in Western India. So there's about 4,000 strawberry farms in an area the size of Halifax City. And we are actually approaching these farmers with our with the devices. And what we are trying to give them is the at-cost trial grows right now. And we are also looking into coming up with a different business model where instead of just selling them the device, we could actually treat the seeds and treat the water and sell the device and sell the water and the seeds and not just the devices, because the devices tend to be quite expensive. So.
Then I've heard from some others. You have a pretty impressive team. How do you guys know each other?
So we have my co-founder and myself. We are at University of Alberta. I'm doing my MBA over there, and my co-founder Nabil Malik, CTO. He's done his mechanical engineering and his petroleum engineering at University of Alberta, and I have a remote team based in Mumbai, India, where I'm originally from. So
great, sounds good. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy startup TNT.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Javed. It's great to see I think that Q&A highlighted the quality of startup and founders that we have here. And it's great to see not just good companies, but companies that are solving these important problems. So next up is Angela for Rimaco Greens, who will be pitching on Rimaco Greens, talking about the mission to provide food security during the climate crisis while reducing greenhouse emissions. Take it away, Angela.
There we go. Hello, my name is Annelida. I am the co-founder and CEO of Rimaco Greens. Today, I'll be sharing how our sustainable commercial greenhouses will enable sustainable food production in every climate, and how you could be part of this solution. Controlled environment agriculture, or CEA, has the potential to deliver food security amidst climate change, but so far it's had limited impact. Without a solution that can truly be used to grow any crop in any climate. Greenhouses can be used to grow any crop, but not in every climate. They're too expensive to cool when sealed, and venting limits their capacity for climate control. On the other hand, indoor farms can grow in any climate, thanks to their sealed environment. But high energy use limits the types of crops that are economically viable. A true solution requires both the minimal energy use of a greenhouse and the sealed environment of an indoor farm. This is the breakthrough of Rimaco Greens' all-climate greenhouse. We've developed the world's first year-round, fully sealed greenhouse, a closed-loop environment that provides optimal growing conditions using minimal land, water, and energy in any climate. Imagine the difference this could make for Canadian growers. They face increasingly challenging climate conditions. Extreme weather cost over $5 billion worth of crop losses in 2021 alone, and this is happening all over the world. So we've seen imported or local, or food prices continue to soar. Meanwhile, emissions from food transportation and agriculture continue to fuel climate change. At the root of this is a technology problem that has prevented farming from adapting through the climate crisis, until now. The all-climate greenhouse enables an ideal growing conditions environment year-round, with minimum risks from weather, pests, and energy price hikes. The secret is the climate control system, which uses our proprietary thermal energy storage process to cool the space without venting or AC. So we get 85% energy savings for cooling, humidity control without refrigerants, and abundant nighttime heating with zero energy. This is much more than a theory. We've already tested the technology in a full-scale prototype. This 10,000 square foot greenhouse is operated sealed, while outside temperatures range between -40 and 40 degrees Celsius, using minimal energy. Designing the space for lettuce production, we estimate energy use comparable to a conventional greenhouse, even in extreme climates, and yields similar to an indoor farm. Bottom line, 20 to 40% savings in operational expenses. Do you know any growers or manufacturers who might appreciate these types of savings? Or are you an investor who is interested in the commercialization of this technology? The answer is yes, then let's connect. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thanks, Angela. I've spent a bit of time kind of, thinking about the fruits and vegetables that we bring in from other countries during the winter. With your type of greenhouse, what kind of things can you grow that weren't possible before?
So that's a question. I guess anything that you could grow in a greenhouse, which is pretty much everything, because you have just air, you can control temperature, humidity, and you're growing with sunlight, can be grown in the greenhouse. The thing that you gain is the energy cost savings. So that's usually what would limit you away from being able to grow any type of crop. So it depends on the conditions in any climate, but in theory, you could grow anything in these greenhouses.
Yeah, that's great. And is your company mostly made to convert existing greenhouses or build them from scratch?
And it would be for cost optimization, it'd be best to deliver them as a full package, like full greenhouse package with the sealed greenhouse and the climate control technology.
Okay, perfect. And next 6 to 12 months, what do you think are your biggest obstacles?
Our next milestone is to have our first harvest. We are working to complete the demo facility where, so one of the challenges will be the horticulture knowledge to be brought in to be able to grow different crops and show the unit economics and the value that this can provide. And then the next milestone will be to start contacting strategic partners, as I mentioned, to partner up to commercialize the technology.
Okay. And I know we're running out of time, but we have a question from the floor, which we haven't received yet. It says, what about limited daylight?
Yeah, so for limited daylight, we do have supplemental heating available as part of the system. So the idea is you will be able to maintain ideal conditions even with limited daylight. It will cost more because you'll have supplemental supplemental energy, but the way it's integrated into the system is highly efficient so that you can still get an advantage of savings compared to any other solution you would have in the same climate.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for your
Amazing.
time.
Look,
Back to
what a great set of pitches. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Angela. That was awesome. And thanks to everybody pitched in that block. Hassan, what a great start to the pitches.
Yeah,
hey?
This is amazing. This is going to be a really tough a decision for the investors to make. Some great pitches, and and I'm noticing a lot of questions in the chat group, in the chat as well. So for founders that have pitched already, go back to the chat and see if you can address those questions that are happening over there as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're heading into our next block here, and it is my pleasure to introduce our next co-host. We have Eric Melson, who's a TNT investor and also a broker with CBRE, one of our best friend forever sponsors. And up next for our Q&A, we're going to have Mark Lowen with CDL Rockies. But first, let's bring on Eric. How are you doing?
I'm doing thanks. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah, it's been great. You just joined us at the end of the last summit. You kind of found out about TNT, got involved. Now you're involved in the Agtech Summit. How excited are you about this whole thing so far?
Yeah, I mean, not only is it a great opportunity to meet people in the business community, but to have my mind continually be blown by the advancements in technology. And sometimes it feels like life is passing you by. Technology is going faster than you can keep track of. So this helps me feel like my finger's on the pulse just a little bit anyways. So I'm grateful for what everyone does here.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. We're very grateful for you at CBRE and all the work you do. And really quick, why don't you remind everybody about what you do at CBRE?
Yeah, so CBRE is a commercial real estate brokerage. I think it's the biggest in the world. We have mandates with something like 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. But why more, how I can help people here is if there are any businesses that are scaling that need office space or warehouse space or farmland, any commercial real estate needs, we can help facilitate that. And then to the investors, if there's anybody else out there, once you've spent all your money on ag tech, if you have any left over and you're looking for investments, I love dealing in investment properties, have a passion for it. So yeah, this is a lot of good intersections here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know CBRE has helped some great tech companies here like 7 Shifts and Vidasta find space. So we're happy to have you on board. So let's get going. Let's get on our next block of pitches, Eric. Who's up next?
Yeah, so we have Nafa Hadou from new Terra Labs. So everybody give it up, and here's Nafa.
Hello, everyone. Really appreciate you and Startup TNT for, there you go. Hello, everyone. Really appreciate you guys for having us here at Startup TNT. We're really excited to be here and chat about what we do. So as mentioned, I'm here with new Terra Labs. We're really focused in regards to optimizing space and growth in the indoor agricultural environment. Myself, I am the Chief Executive Orator for New Terra Labs. I've previously helped the startup go from 60K in revenue to 2 million over a 2-year period. Alongside this is actually my brother, who's our CTO, and he's been working on technologies development and solutions within the space for near a decade. And our team, direct development team, as well as supportive members and a great board of advisors ranging from business to human resources and the sciences. The reason here today is to really hammer in, you guys have heard about it, the issues being exposed in our agricultural practices, everything from water shortages, over fertilization and runoff, multitude of different impacts that make traditional agricultural environments extremely energy intensive. As a whole, as you're aware, we've moved into this area and this focus of working in regards to the indoor agricultural space. With that great improvement, those great strides, there's still issues that really compound the profitability of those areas. Things from labor shortages, increased costs due to the fertilizers, nutrients, waters that are being used. It makes it difficult to make and grow crops in these indoor controlled environments. New Terra Labs is really coming here to leverage technology and enable those operators and those farmers to reduce, save, and be able to de-risk their investments. What we've completed is a 3-part solution: a distributed control system that collects everything from environmental sensor data to their local outside and internal plant health, a hyperspectral camera vision that leverages thermal imagery for earlier pest detection and nutrient deficiencies, and an analytics software that combines this all together and provides actionable outcomes in the facilities. All of this leverages machine learning to ensure that the most optimal conditions are being presented to the farmer, actuated independently or automatically, and at the end of the day, creates these great profiles that allow for improved efficiencies and growth. As mentioned, some of the main key features is our hardware is modular, it's upgradable, and it's cost effective. The software is easily accessible and mobile viewing, and the camera vision system leverages new methodologies and technologies to ensure it's closing that feedback loop for these farmers. Some of the key things that we can easily display in terms of the dashboard, everything from lighting and humidity down to the stage of harvest, as well as the phasing and energy usages as discussed. Overall, the market is really looking to expand and boom. From a top level view, the US and North American market is expected to be about $2.23 billion with an increasing growth of 24.6. Within our target market, what we're expecting, Western Canada, Western Alberta, within a 3-year timeline, we have a service operable market of 38.9 million and a 5-year target of 172, which is just a small piece, but a significant piece of the overall market share. In terms of a revenue model, there's 4 main components. The first is the control system sales with a weighted average customer value of $31,000 USD. We have an analytics SaaS subscription to the actual platform, which comes out to about an $1,800 yearly license. And there's digital transformation services that we can leverage to improve the outcome of the farms and their transition to technology. Everything from managed support to developmental services for unique industry specific or operation specific activities. Current traction, we've been working on one pilot demonstration with Botanical Pantry to leverage and collect the data. We have a consulting engagement with Northern Fresh Farm for an 18,000 square foot facility to really work towards building out their and moving them from manual processes to the actual delivery. And yeah.
I hate to cut you off. We're right at the end here, though. We're a little over.
No worries. I appreciate you guys' time. More than happy to take some questions.
Nafa, thank you so much. That was a really great presentation. Thanks for walking us through it. Time is a commodity, so
yeah.
No, we'll try and run through this here. I would love to just kind of hear a little bit on the traction piece where we kind of got cut off on. You have the pilot opportunity, you have the consulting, and you have some letters of intent that you've issued to be the primary vendor. Can you kind of talk us through, what it's going to take, maybe on the primary vendor side to get to that point, and what kind of hurdles do you need to overcome to secure those opportunities?
Absolutely. The biggest difficulty within our space is we're as good as the data that we have access to and what we can collect. And the more it is engaged with the actual use cases, the better we're able to service and support our clients. So one of the conditions in regards to the LOIs is a bit more validation in the pilot demonstrations, paid pilots, showing that the exact specific end results. I can always say our expectations, but they want to be shown the exact operational numbers. For us, as mentioned, we're expecting 15% reduction in operational expenses by using our system, and up to 30% earlier detection in pests and diseases. Those need to be fully validated and be supported by the case studies themselves.
Awesome. I'm not sure if we have more time for a question, but nope, we do not have more time for a question. So thank you very much, and I will pass it back for our next venture.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Excellent. Well, thanks. Thank you, Nafa there. And our next presenter comes from FarmSimple Solutions, and will be presented by Caitlin Lang.
Thanks, Eric. All right. Last year, during the peak of harvest, 10 of my cows died from severe dehydration. Why did this happen? It happened because I simply did not have the time or the labor to stop the combine to check water for a couple hours. That's a true story from a FarmSimple customer. My name is Caitlin Lang. I'm here to tell you about this problem. A livestock producer's most valuable resource is time. Water depletion or freezing is hazardous to the livestock. With increasing inflation, fuel costs, wages, these vehicle expenses are adding up every day. A farmer will spend about $4,000 just to check water at a single water source each summer. Or worse, if they can't check it for a few days and the cows are without water, you could lose significant amounts of your livestock. FarmSimple's solution is the herd hand. 24/7 monitoring of water levels, temperatures, and more. How does it work? We ship our device directly to the customer. They install the hardware in a couple of minutes. If low water or temperature is detected, they'll receive an alert directly to their phone. They take action, and the problem is solved. In North America, we have about 1 million cattle farms, 1.3 million livestock farms, and 2.2 million farms in total. We have a dual revenue stream. So we sell the hardware for $650, and then we sell a subscription price for $10 a month to keep that device active. At an average of 3 devices per farm and 3% market penetration, we're talking about 87,000 active devices, which is 56 million in hardware sales and 870,000 in recurring revenue each month. I'm the co-founder, and my brother Dustin is we're 2 of 4 brothers that grew up on the farm raising red Angus livestock since we could walk. Currently, we have 45 customers, over 75 devices. We're in Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, and Manitoba. We sell directly to customers, and we have 7 retailers on board. We just recently signed up United Farmers of Alberta, so we're pretty excited about that. Do you want to grow with FarmSimple? FarmSimple is looking for partners to accelerate our growth. We want to assemble a marketing team and increase organic traction via our customer experience. Thanks for your time. I'm happy to take any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Catlin. Really appreciate that. Great presentation. And always love when technologies are inspired by the work that you actually do. So that's great. Just thinking about, maybe you can walk us through a little bit more kind of about the implementation and installation. So you sell a device to the farmer and they're looking to put it in a few locations. You know, where exactly is it going? How is it being installed? Just kind of walk us through a little bit more how it works on that side.
Yeah. So every setup is typically unique to a livestock producer, but the most common setup that we see is a remote solar water system. So these are popular because pumping water, traditionally animals were watered directly from the ground, a water source, but pumping from a dugout into a trough using a solar water system is much more efficient and better for the cattle. So our monitor gets installed directly at that pumping source. So it wires directly to the battery, and then a float switch goes in the tank, and that's how it's detecting, is the water good or is the water went low? And that's when it sends out the alert.
Okay. And the actual device and everything that you're actually implementing, is there any patents on this? Is there any IP? You know, how are you, I guess the question is, what would stop anybody else from coming in and building something similar?
We don't have any patents on our hardware or IP, but we don't see ourselves as a hardware company. We're a data company. A farmer doesn't care what his monitor looks like. If it's black, if it's gray, all he cares about is the water normal or is it low? And then I'm going to take action on it. So we just see ourselves as first movers in the market here in North America. And we have that backing. So we're close to the farm. We understand the problem, so we can relate to our customers immediately. And we just look to lead the pack in that sense.
Great. Catlin, thanks so much. Eric, I'll pass it back over to you.
Right on. Thank you, Catlin. That was wonderful. Next up, we have Prairie Vertical Farms, and our presenter is Chandel Sabat.
I'm just sharing. Yeah, I'm just sharing screen here. Oh, wrong one. Oh, just a minute. Stop sharing. I had this all set up, ready to go. Sorry, guys. I literally had this ready to go.
It's all good, Chandel. It happens sometimes. I can vamp for a second and kill some time. So you just put it in full screen mode now, and then we're good to go.
Okay. Good?
No. Oh, no, we're not seeing the full screen mode, but
nope.
Just a
second
go with
here.
this, we can do that.
What's that?
You can just go with this. This works too.
No, I have it on full screen. I'm gonna try one more time. Share full screen. My apologies. I did have this Microsoft PowerPoint.
Sometimes you gotta like open the PowerPoint first and then move it into full screen because it doesn't like it.
Well, I've got it open right here.
Why don't we jump ahead one and come back?
Is it there?
No. All right, let's go ahead to Trevor and we'll come right back to you, Chandel. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, hi, everybody. You can hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Go ahead, Trevor.
All right, so you should be able to see the presentation in a moment. There we go. So hopefully you can see that screen, and thank you again so much for the time to take a look at what we're doing and hear about some of the recent developments and some of the exciting things that are happening here with Convergence Composites. So for any of you guys that are reading the news lately, you noticed that there's a major movement actually in the field of waste within Canada here, where the federal government's recently banned single-use plastics. So that presents a huge opportunity and a huge problem for the country and for the world when we start thinking about all those materials that come not just out of agriculture, but other industries that we need to do something with. And I'm a biologist by training, and a basic philosophy that we have at Convergence is that the solution has always been right under our feet. So talking a little bit about what makes us unique is we have brought together three critical entities that we think is going to create something really special. So I represent a company called HFPC, which has a proprietary, very unique technology that allows us to control the geometry of plant fibers from 2 inches in length down to micron geometries. What that does is it allows us to actually integrate that into plastic materials so that we can produce a whole new generation of bioproducts that are both compostable, renewable, and can be used in a wide suite of product applications. We've partnered with 2 other companies, Up6, that specializes in upcycled market opportunities, and Composify, a European-based company that is really experts when it comes to 3D filaments and a lot of other composite-based applications. So really come up with a new concept where we can leverage our technology to refine fibers and actually sell them into some of these novel market applications. So what we bring together that's very unique, our unfair advantage, is we bring proprietary technology to refine and produce unique plant fibers that can be compatibilized and turned into market applications for other applications, like packaging, for example. This, to give you an idea of how fast the business is progressing for you, is something that happened just this week. So this is actually a 3D printed biodegradable plant pot that's made in conjunction with agricultural residues that was made just recently in Europe. So our vision for these products is to be able to take an agricultural residue that's undervalued, print it into a consumer bought product, and then be able to return that to the environment where we can either create new soils or recycle it into another generation of products. And it's that proprietary technology that we control and our partners that allow us to do this, and lots of expertise related to this space in specifics. So just to kind of give you an idea of how things are progressing, most of the innovation that we've happened, which has been happening very rapidly, kind of comes out into 2 categories. One is a pelletized product for 3D printing and for composites. So we're engaged with the auto sector and some companies in Europe that we're entering into commercial discussions with to produce some of their products to lower their ESG footprint or potentially their price point. And then we've also got a 3D filament line that's already been proven. As you can see, we just printed a pot recently that allow us to essentially enter a distributed economy where anybody with a 3D printer can produce a biodegradable product for whatever application they can dream of. So in terms of where we are as a company, so we have the processing technology already for the fiber production in place. So we're in a position where we can sell those materials. But we really see a vision to combine that expertise and knowledge with that market expertise to actually be able to control the market and actually be able to produce a finished either 3D filament for consumers or a compounded product that could be converted into products by other markets and industry partners that we're dealing with globally already that are beating down our door to buy our product here in the very near future. One of the exciting things about this venture that's different from others, as we've really deliberately built it so that the capital requirements to turn this into a commercial venture is not very large, because we're already doing the pulverization and refining. We should be able to build a commercial venture for a relatively small infusion of capital and really do some globally relevant things fast, using essentially any fiber that's produced in the world. We have proven concept on a wide range of products and fibers from across North America and Europe already. With that, thank you for your time.
Okay, perfect. I was going to cut you off, but also I didn't want to cut you off sooner because you were on a roll there and we had some technical problems. We couldn't actually see your slides moving, unfortunately. It was kind of frozen there, just so you know. So if you want to like share the slides in the chat or a link to them so people can take a look, feel free. But I'll let Mark take it away with some questions.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jesse. And Trevor, thank you. Good to see you again. Maybe you could just walk us through a little bit, what the market is that you're targeting right now. Like, are you just going after the Canadian supply? Where are you getting the supply from, and kind of where do you see the next 6 to 12 months going after?
So right now, all our fibers are coming locally, right? So we use everything from hemp and flax fibers, wood residues, and we're dealing with some large agricultural processors to utilize their byproducts right now. So supply hasn't been a problem. It's actually been a huge opportunity for us because they can be very low cost. And the next phase for us is really to address some of those markets where customers have come back to us and said we'd like to execute on specific markets, right? So one of them, for example, is related to actually replacing single-use plastics, where we can produce cutlery and other products that can be used multiple times and then recycled and converted into another product or can be composted.
Great. No, thank you, Trevor. I'm not sure if we have any more time for a question, but I just did see Rami threw something in there, just a question about the IP and the corporate structure between the three entities.
Yeah, so the IP is on the fiber refining is controlled by HFPC. And the corporate structure is going to be a joint venture between the parties with the intent of bringing in specific knowledge from Composify that's very unique and very defined in terms of 3D filaments. The reason why our fiber has value is because these guys know how to actually add it into a compounded polymer and actually make it work, right? And then we've got markets that are connected through other parties. So the intention with the venture is to be able to bring proprietary technology together with expertise in markets in one fell swoop.
Awesome. Trevor, thank you. I think we are definitely over time. Eric, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Okay. I think we are now going back. Thank you, Trevor. We're now going back to Shondell, I believe.
That's correct.
I believe that is working.
We're good.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining today and for hearing the story about Prairie Vertical Farms. Welcome, and thanks to the folks at Startup TNT. I thought I'd start with our why. We're a Canadian-based commercial scale vertical farm producer. We're growing high quality leafy greens at competitive pricing. And this eliminates the need for imports. But a little bit about how we came to this and why. My co-founder and I, we have a deep passion for agriculture, ag tech, and this actually dates back over 100 years when our ancestors first arrived here from Europe. And they built successful farming operations utilizing state-of-the-art technology that was imported from the US. And that's a tradition we're keeping alive here today at Prairie Vertical Farms. Secondly, the water crisis in California, where we get 95% of our leafy greens from, it really demands that we find a solution. A recent Washington Post article quoted that really there never was enough water, and he was referring to the Colorado River Basin. And with a recent deadline that was imposed by the US federal government having passed, forced rationing of water and decreased exports of leafy greens out of California are very real possibilities. Thirdly, we're farmers first. Our passion is indoor growing, and this is very difficult to do at scale. It requires many disciplines to come together, and it requires a team of dedicated experts. We've partnered with a best-in-class Montreal-based tech provider so that we can focus on farming. This slide really does talk a lot about what were the critical criteria. We identified 3 critical criteria before we even made a decision to build our first farm. First, we wanted to be able to produce at scale, and we needed to be able to produce consistent fresh produce in quantities that could satisfy a national retailer's demands. By being price competitive with field-grown lettuce, we were able to negotiate and sign an offtake agreement for 100% of the farm production. So why do farms fail, and what are we doing about it? Much like our Montreal-based tech provider, our approach has been very measured, focused, and thoughtful. We both started with a retailer problem, and we look to try to solve that problem. So number one, choosing the right tech is critical. Secondly, Managing your power load and prices is critical to success. 41% of indoor farmers have never thought about power. We started with that problem and looked for a solution right from the beginning. Thirdly, people. People skills and the availability are key to successful farming. We have an MOU signed with Olds College to develop workforce programs. So that's going to help with that challenge. Fourthly, we're in the middle of, we have a location selected and we're breaking ground in May. We're in the middle of the Agtech hub of Central Alberta. This is close to labor, education, and the customer's distribution warehouses. And then of course, thirdly, profitable farms mean that the toughest challenges can be solved and addressed. And so our farms, we started with that premise of needing to be profitable. Having a positive impact is key business driver for us. We touch 9 of the 17 UN sustainability goals. We are not only localizing food production, but moving the economic benefits from Southern California to Alberta. This is amounting to a potential of over $1 billion in annual economic benefit to Alberta. In the process, we are drastically decreasing the environmental impact of farming and increasing freshness and nutrient content of the food that we eat. Thanks again to everybody for listening, and thanks again to Startup TNT.
Awesome. Thank you, Shondell. That's really great and just amazing to see this happening here at home. I would love for you to maybe give us a little bit more information on that offtake agreement that you mentioned. Might have missed something there, but who is that with? What does that look like, and where do you expect that to go from here?
The offtake agreement is under NDA, so I can't disclose it. It is with a national retailer. There's 5 of them. You can go through the list, and they're on the list.
No, okay. Going back, okay, so thinking more on the sales side and the distribution, if you're looking to break ground, you said here this spring, kind of how do you see kind of the longer term kind of scale of this? Where do you plan to kind of open up, and how do you grow outside of this market, and what is that going to take, and what's kind of the time frame to expand outwards?
Yeah, one of the bullet points, our ultimate goal is 6 farms across the prairies. And really our customers are the distribution centers for the retailers: Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon, Regina, and Winnipeg. First farm, we will break ground here in the spring, be fully operational by mid-2024. And then by the end of 2024, make an investment decision with respect to farm 2. The land that we have purchased, we have a right of first refusal, which will give us enough space for a second farm. Then we will start expanding probably up to the Edmonton area and then into Saskatchewan. So the second farm would be 2025, third farm 26, 27. We'd probably build 2 of them together. And then our plan is that by 2030, we'll be 6 farms across the prairies.
Okay, Shondell, thank you very, very much. I think, Jesse, I'll pass it back to you for the next block.
Another block of pitches down. Thanks everybody for working through those technical difficulties with us. Appreciate everyone's patience. We're over halfway there, Hassan. What do we think so far?
I think this is, like we said before, it's going to be a tough call. There's some amazing companies that we've seen, and I can't wait to hear about the companies in the last 2 blocks.
Yeah, so we got some really interesting blocks. So who's coming up next to do some intros for us?
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce Curtis Griffith from Boast AI to help out with our next block. And I also want to introduce David Sullivan, who's a friend of mine right here in the room, actually, and he's also a TNT investor. So welcome to both of you, gentlemen. But Curtis, for those that in the audience that aren't familiar with Boast AI, can you give us a quick background into what your organization does?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Hassan. Curtis Griffith, Boast AI. We are a tech-enabled full-service SRED tax credit provider. So founded here in Calgary, where I am, about 10 years ago. We now operate across Canada as well as the United States, helping software and technology companies access and finance SRED tax credits. So excited to be here and be supporting the Agtech
piece in particular as a fiercely proud used to be farm kid from southwestern Manitoba. So great to see all the startups and particularly a little bit of the actual farmers and some of those folks building great technology with that knowledge that they have. So great to be here, and I will pass it over to one of those startups we're going to hear from. So first up, we have Mark Olson from Flokk. Mark, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Mark Olson, and I am the founder and president of Flokk Systems. Flokk delivers the first digital herd management solution that is purpose-built for everyday use at the animal side. Flokk collects herd events once at the animal side, then makes them available for management analytics and submission to industry partners and regulators without additional effort. Flokk's story begins 3 years ago when a neighbor came to me frustrated. They wanted to digitize their cow-calf herd, but the products available were awkward to use and unaffordable. The Flokk team engaged ranchers, industry groups, and regulators to develop a digitization solution that offers compelling value propositions for every livestock producer. Precision agriculture enabled a revolution in input optimization, revenue growth, and quality for cereal and oilseed farmers, creating a multi-billion-dollar industry in the process. But precision ranching remains a huge unexploited opportunity. Alternate protein sources will continue to be part of our food system's ESG response, but it has become clear that consumer behavior will not change rapidly enough to achieve the necessary ESG outcomes. Incremental improvements to existing systems are the achievable route to providing the proteins consumers want and the ESG we need. But we are missing the complete, accurate, and trustworthy animal production data necessary to enable ESG solutions. Flokk is the actionable route to securing the ESG benefits of precision ranching because it offers both a compelling value proposition for ranchers to digitize their herd today and the capacity to support emerging solutions. Flokk's usability, functionality, and affordability provide a pragmatic and actionable path from today's paper-based practices to digitization. Core to our revenue strategy is service subscriptions tied to ranchers' mandatory and ongoing reporting requirements. By offering a menu of subscription options, Flokk offers a compelling value proposition for ranchers at every stage of their adoption of precision ranching. Significant revenue will also be realized from sale of market intelligence data. Flokk will be the industry standard platform precision ranching, positioning us as a catalyst for and beneficiary from industry innovation. Flokk is ready today to apply capital to revenue growth. We have been completing ongoing testing at ranches throughout Alberta over the last year. Flokk's entire team has hands-on experience with ranching, and we continue to look first to Canada's ranching families to source the resources we need. This ensures we retain our capacity to listen to, engage with, and secure the trust of our customers, which is the foundation of our success. Thank you for your time and attention. You can find complete information at flokk.ca.
That's great, Mark. For the benefit of everybody that hasn't stood at a cattle shoot, can you explain why you chose to do it with the hardware that you chose rather than an iPad or an iPhone?
It's two dimensions to it. One is just the ruggedness, the capability of it. This is our current prototype. We need to seal in those buttons, but then we've got a device that can be used in all weather. You'll notice there's no touchscreen on there, and that's because this can be used with insulated gloves on. The other advantage we have is our RFID tag reader is integrated. That makes for simple implementation and very simple use. Our process can be designed around the RFID tag, which makes for a much faster, rapid process, as opposed to competing solutions with an iPad. They have to work sometimes with a tag, sometimes without a tag. And the last benefit, an implementation cost that's somewhere between a quarter and a sixth of other current solutions.
Oh, that's perfect. Can you give everybody kind of a feel for the government programs that are mandatory now and what's coming in the future?
Watergate.
We're getting some crosstalk there. There's been a regime for animal traceability reporting for many years. The roots of it go back to BSC. The thing is, though, that there's never been a stick. So about only 40% of the actual reporting that's supposed to happening is going to occur. Federal regulations are coming for this. We're engaged at the senior levels of the federal government. They are going to be published in Canada Gazette 1 either in the next week or in about 2 or 3 weeks out. This will start a process over 2 years where these reporting requirements will become mandated. This will be a key requirement for producers to look to digitization. We see this as just the start. Whatever the industry's response is to ESG, it's going to require extensive sharing of data in ways that is accurate and reliable. And that's where we see a key opportunity.
Good job, Mark. Appreciate the pitch.
Thanks, Dave.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Just my father-in-law needed you about 20 years ago, but he'll be happy to hear the story when I tell him. So next up, Tayab Sumro with FieldLab wasn't able to join us tonight, but he did prepare a video so we can watch his pitch still.
Hello. Hi. Farmers are dealing with an all-time high crop yield losses, and 20% of these are due to preventable plant pathogens. These pathogens have a very narrow window of treatment, so immediate results are important. Current detection methods such as lab testing facilities just take far too long and are extremely costly, especially for the farmers that are from remote areas, to a point where many have resorted to eyeballing to make crop decisions. Farmers need a disease testing technology that provides results quickly and cost effectively. This tool should be handheld so that our agronomists and farmers can easily move around the farmland and can get results instantly. Just like COVID test kits, we are developing in-field crop disease testing kits that empowers farmers to maximize crop yields and minimize losses. Our tech is based on lab PCR requiring minimal equipment, reducing costs without compromising on the accuracy. Our solution comes in 2 components: the base station, which is one-time purchase, whereas the kits are single use per disease per sample and are purchased on regular basis. Based on the available market in North America, our anticipated TAM will be $185 billion. With Saskatchewan as our attainable market, our projected TAM is $14 billion. Our beachhead market is snowlap farmland, and if we capture 1% of it, our estimated SOM is $23 million. We certainly have some competition in this space, which only validates the importance of the problem. However, our competition has not yet achieved the optimal balance of cost effectiveness and ease of use, giving us a competitive edge. Agtech and FieldLab have come close, but our kits provide farmers with optimal balance of accuracy, cost, and time effectiveness, outperforming Agtech and FieldLab with our newest technology. Our affordability gives more farmers access to this technology. With having started just in October of last year, we're already well on our way to be performing in-lab trials and have started the process of creating our very first MVP, which we aim to test through the in-field validation on farms in the summer of this year. In the meantime, we're also conducting market validation and customer interviews in order to keep the customer at the forefront of our product. By the end of this year, we plan to have sales and marketing plans ready and executed. FieldLab has gathered a talented team who are veterans in their respective fields. We have experts in computational, agricultural, business, and marketing sectors who bring decades of experience and are working passionately and with unwavering motivation to bring long overdue advancements in the crop disease testing field. We are extremely passionate group driven to bring positive impact in Saskatchewan agriculture and beyond. Help us make that happen. Thank you.
Awesome. Great to see that, even though he wasn't here in person. So we'll make up a little bit of time and steal the shine from Dave and move right along to Jeffrey Schmilsky with OneCup AI.
Dave, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is, you can all see this, right? Good.
Yes.
My name is Jeffrey, and I'm the CTO of OneCup AI, the home of Betsy, or bovine expert tracking and surveillance, where you can manage your herd over a cup of coffee. The problem that we're addressing is simply this one. There is not enough people in the industry today. There's a shortfall of 60,000 qualified personnel in agriculture right now, and that's going to triple over the next, or double over the next 3 years. And there's real impact when there's not enough people. In the United States, there's over 100 million cattle, and roughly 4 million of those will suffer early fatalities, costing the industry almost $4 billion this year. An interesting stat is that most of those fatalities occur with calves in the first 3 weeks of life, and we believe that 80% of these fatalities are preventable. With Betsy, or computer vision for animal care, and Betsy is the eyes of the rancher when the rancher is away, and she can save millions of animals and potentially billions of dollars. And this is how Betsy sees. Betsy sees through a series of bounding boxes and key points, and in the middle here, she's actually using Face ID, similar to your phone, to ID animals. She can track them by their appearance. Under the hood, this is Betsy's brain. She's a multimodal AI with over 20 models and one of the most advanced anywhere. She can see nutrition, activity, calving, soon estrus, and phenotypes. The bottom line is this: if the humans can see it, so can Betsy. And with it, she has amazing vision powers. In the area of calving, to address those fatalities, she can see the issues around contractions, delivery and breech, or if an animal gets its colostrum, which is essential to life. If any of these things go sideways, she notifies a rancher when things are wrong. And this is what a rancher sees. She can see what the animals are doing. We can show a rancher where the animals are, or individual animals are within a video or many videos. She can show where emergencies occur or why she thinks the way she does. And very soon, our customers can now share these videos with these annotations online on social media. Today, we are at over 100 sites and deployed several hundred cameras and have collected over 500,000 hours of video. On the map here, orange are cows, green is sheep, and blue is bison. We're running this now at scale. In the last hour before this event, Betsy processed 370,000 images of animals, almost 6 million a day. We are a SaaS model of selling Betsy for $40 per month per camera, or $2,000 a year per ranch. And there are 1 million ranches in North America. Our company is profitable at 1,000 ranches. The industry is simply massive. There are more animals under human care than there are human. And Betsy works from alpacas, zebras. The TAM is over 20 billion. We're a team of 20 people, and most of our investors are ranchers. We are now backed by 2 VCs, and to date, we have spent over 3 million creating Betsy. Thank you. My name is Jeffrey, and I'm the CTO of OneCup AI.
Great job, Jeffrey. Can you give some feedback? What can the camera see? Can it see an animal that's got a fever, or sickness, or
we don't
something that's a disease that maybe you could see faster than a human could?
Yes, they certainly can. So we use these kind of cameras here. And they're not thermal cameras, they're only regular cameras. They're not that expensive, only a couple $100. And we see, for an example, if an animal is limping, if its gait is abnormal, or if it's not eating, we can tell you that it's not eating properly. The challenge you have with animals is they often hide their injuries because they're prey animals. But with cameras, they don't realize they're under surveillance. So with our cameras, we can see things that a human cannot. So if an animal is hurt or suffering in some way or in discomfort, we can identify it and notify the rancher. But we don't use thermal, we only use vision.
So what's some of your early users' feedback?
Oh, they love it. They just love it. They love how they can go and see the cameras and look at the animals in live video feeds. They love how they can go back and see the history of what's happened at their ranch. During calving season, it's critical for them to check on the animals every several hours. The fact that we can actually proactively notify them is a lifesaver. We have one customer, for example, that just wants to know when coyotes are in the yard. And we text them and message them in email when that occurs. So yeah, they love it. We've only ever lost one customer. And we have, like I say, several hundred.
That's a great job. I appreciate the pitch, and good luck on the competition.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. So last up from my group here, we have Stan
I'm not gonna mispronounce your last name, Stan, but if you guys like, Stan sent me some info. If you guys like the plasma, then get ready for the Algae, because here it comes.
Hi, my name is Stan Pankratz, and I'm here to talk about algae as a source of protein to feed a hungry planet. There's a couple challenges, global challenges that we meet, and one of them is to feed millions of people. Conventional farming isn't keeping up, and algae can meet that need. In Alberta, we're particularly sensitive to a climate change challenge that we've got for CO2 emissions, and we have an answer for that as well. The answer is found in cultivating algae and doing that for food. Algae can double its mass in 24 to 48 hours, and its key nutrient is actually CO2. For every ton of biomass we produce, we take down 1.8 tons of CO2. It's got a complement of carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins, so it can be used as a food source for many of the species, but you can also convert it back into energy and low carbon fuels. Our focus has been on spirulina. 100% of the biomass is edible. It's a fantastic food ingredient, double the protein density that you're going to find in chicken or beef. It's got a full complement of amino acids and has amazing health benefits. The Aztecs used it for food, and so will our astronauts of the future. The challenge, though, for us is to introduce spirulina as a novel food ingredient into a $40 billion protein market. So how are we going to do that? First of all, we're targeting $20 a kilogram for plant protein. Now, if you look down the list of potential competitors, and there's many more, we're down at the bottom end. So we would have access to the $40 billion marketplace. And the way that we're going to get there is by scaling up our patented algae cultivation platform, where we've been successful in doubling the yield of our algae. Our game plan is to go through food distributors because they move tons of product, and they in turn have something to offer their food processors. Differentiation, because consumer demand is shifting over to plant-based protein. That's exactly what we've got. Our 5-year plan is to get to 100 million in sales, go public, and yes, we could use all the help that we can get. Our key commercial activity to this point, I'm going to focus in on Synovus. And in this case, we're looking at GHG emissions, or taking down CO2. Our current team is small, but we've got amazing bench strength. And the question that I have for you as listeners is, when can we begin working together to introduce spirulina to your network of food distribution contacts? Thank you.
Great job, Stan. The PowerPoint-less pitch was a power move.
Oh my
Good job.
goodness. Okay, there you go.
I guess question, there's other algae companies out there. What makes your company, your product better, different, have the competitive edge?
We've got the technology that's scalable. There's many aspects to the technology that set it apart. Doubling the known yield of algae is non-trivial, where over the past probably 20 plus years, they've been nudging the needle forward, perhaps gaining 1 or 2, 5%, whatever. Over the past 3 years, we've managed to double it. And where they said we couldn't push through the ceiling, we in fact have. That is a key differentiator right there, to drop the cost. That's what's keeping this industry from really going much, much larger.
Do you have IP around that?
Yes, we do. We've got 2 patents out on that.
Real good. And from a consumer standpoint, what does it taste like? I've never had it. What's it comparable to?
In terms of taste, actually, when it's just coming off at the end of the cultivation, or when we harvest it, it's got essentially no taste and no smell. It's a very smooth texture in your mouth. we've actually moved it forward. I was originally going to spin off a company on cookies to start getting money coming back in, because that in Canada is $1 billion market as well. However, at the scale that we are, we need to go to a much higher scale so that we can produce tens of thousands of cookies instead of thousands, and have distribution of the same amount. The reason I chose cookies was because you've got a higher margin, a gross margin in there, and much higher profitability. But it can go into many other kinds of foods.
Very cool. A great pitch and good job.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Dan. I don't know if you meant to or not, but ooh, I'm like looking really funny. There we go, coming back. There we go. Yeah, we weren't able to see your slides, but honestly, you killed that. I was so focused in on what you were saying, and I think it made for a great pitch. How about that, Hassan? We're like 4 blocks down. We got 1 block to go. What a night!
Absolutely, what a night! I love the fully talking pitch, no slides. That's amazing. Great. Thanks to Curtis and David for facilitating that block. And we're just about ready to go to our next block, a final block. But before we do that, how about we go check in with Zach Storms and see how the other sectors are doing.
Hey, Hassan. Hey, Jesse. How you guys doing over here in Agtech? How's things been shaken down?
Awesome, Zach.
Unbelievable. So good. We've covered such a wide range. You should see in the chat, we went from plasma to algae to laser toting robots. It's crazy.
Laser toting robots. Love it. All right. Well, life sciences has been awesome as well. A lot of good conversation over there in the chat, people blowing it up. And you know what? I actually came here because I wanted to give a special shout out to those of you on the call from all 3 streams that have donated to the community bar tab for the after parties tonight. You know who's donated to it, guys? I want to start with 2 people that donated to it tonight that are your MCs, Jesse and Hassan. Let's give it up for them. Thank you, Jesse and Hassan. Donating to the bar tab. 13 people donated to $1,400. We have a long tradition of doing this at Startup TNT. Actually, I met my co-founder, Tim Lin, at one of our happy hours, and one of the first things he did was to whip out a $100 bill to pay for the bar tab. It's a long-standing tradition where you can buy your friend a beer at a TNT happy hour. And so listen, I want to give a shout out to everybody else. Tim and Zach have sponsored beers tonight as well. We've contributed to the bar tab. Crystal Phillips from Thin Air Labs, one of the investors and organizers of the Life Sciences Summit. Adrian Mitchell, one of our TNT leads for the Life Sciences Summit. Chris Patterson from Tallgrass Ventures. He might be on the call right now. An Agtech investor. Stephanie Bailey, one of our clean tech investors and from the Clean Research Innovation Network. And finally, Mark Leo Wilson, who's over on the clean tech call. He just organized this amazing Hydrogen Hub convention here in Edmonton. It's been great. We also got 3 anonymous donations. I just want to give a shout out. If you would like to be a hero and buy your friend a beer, you can do it very easily. You can send a donation to beers@startuptnt.com. You can send it to drinks@startuptnt.com. And you can send it to cheers@startuptnt.com. So I just want to say one final cheers to everybody on the call today. And thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the after parties. They'll be starting very soon. Thanks, Jesse and Hassan.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Pick me up. Oh my goodness. Bringing the energy, getting us back going, because we got 1 more block of pitches to get through here. Thanks so much, Zach, for starting this amazing organization. It's a pleasure to work with you.
Thanks,
Hassan,
everybody.
anything else to say?
Enjoy the night. I'm going to check in on some of the other calls right now.
Sounds good. Take care, Zach.
See you guys.
All right. Up next, we got to get into our final block of pitches. And we've got 2 amazing folks to bring us home that are going to be running this next block. We've got Todd Orman from Olds College, who will be introducing the speakers. And then our Q&A is going to be Juan Shi of the 51. She'll be coming on right after our first pitch. But why don't we bring on Todd to the stage? Ask you to unmute there. Come on up. Right. How you doing, Todd? You enjoying the pitches so far?
I'm enjoying the pitches, but I must admit now I'm feeling pressure. There's always pressure before you go for dinner, like, you know, who you're for before the lunch. But now if you're before the beer, there's that much more pressure to deliver now. Like there's massive pressure for this team.
Of course, yeah, but I'm sure we're going to hold your attention. People can grab some beers from their fridge. Let's keep it going. But before we introduce the first pitch, Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Olds College? Right, I'm from Saskatchewan. I'm actually not that familiar with Olds College, so why don't you tell me more about it?
So Olds College has been playing around with ag technology since 1913. So before ag tech was actually a word. So we are an institution that is 100% focused on agriculture. And what we're probably best known for is honestly our physical infrastructure and our focus on technology for ag. So we have 3,600 acres of farmland, which allows us to basically test products, both at scale and at a smaller scale. We have 1,000 head feedlot, which allows us to collect data and work with animals directly. We have our own cattle herds, our own sheep herds, and we have a dedicated team of about 35 professionals that work in areas of engineering, agronomy, animal husbandry that can all work and help validate technology. There's actually a number of companies here on the call that have come through Olds College. And since 2018, we've interacted with about 240 different ag tech companies, and we'll run roughly about 50 to 75 trials every year on our farm. So that's who we are. We're all about agriculture and we're all about ag tech, and we love supporting this community.
Awesome. Well, that's such a comprehensive overview of what you're doing, and lots of love coming there in the chat as well. Mark mentioning he's just there today. So check it out, Olds College. I'm sure Todd will throw his info there in the chat. But why don't we get into our last final pitches here, and let's take it away with the first pitch of the block. Who we got coming up next?
Sure. So the first one in my group is Proxima Research Development. So I find this interesting. I mean, I'm an ag guy myself, and the traditional model that really has been profitable is making sure that you're tied to production. We will simply need more food in the future. So if you can figure out how to either help grow more crops or make that animal larger and more efficient, you usually have a winning model. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Ian Wallace and Proxima Research Development.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Just give me a second. There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. My name's Ian Wallace, and I'm the Chief Scientific Officer here at Proxima Research and Development in sunny Saskatoon. Here today to talk to you about Myopromin, our solution for sustainable animal agriculture. Last year, we hit 8 billion mouths to feed globally, and food security has never been more precarious. Existing animal protein production practices substantially impact the climate, the environment, and human health. Just as an example, antibiotics used to increase carcass weight directly lead to antibiotic resistance and human infections. Nevertheless, animal protein consumption is increasing worldwide as the world gets richer. Additionally, in terms of input costs, the biggest variable expense after the cost of the animal is the feed input. We need classic biotechnological solutions to increase the yield and efficiency of animal protein production while reducing environmental impact, health impact, and it needs to mesh nicely with existing technology. Our approach is Myopromin, more meat sustainably. Myopromin is orally active. It's produced in a yeast platform, and it contains no animal-derived inputs. It provides lifelong increases in feed conversion and yield with just a single course of treatment early in the animal's life. If we could get a conservative 5% increase in livestock yields through the use of Myopromin, that would represent $45 billion US a year in added value to the industry. More specifically, in terms of the effect on an individual animal, in this case, a cow, we would expect to see conservatively a 41 kilo increase in the weight of the animal on the hoof, or a 10% increase, a 91 kilo increase, or a 30% boost to the meat recovered from that animal. This would lead to carcass waste being reduced by 33% and meat yield being increased by 18%. All of this would add up to around $685 or a 30% increase in the value of a carcass treated with Myopromin. Now, Myopromin is designed for growth promotion, and it doesn't claim to treat or prevent any diseases. We anticipate, with this in mind, that Myopromin will be categorized as a veterinary health product or a VHP rather than a much more costly pharmaceutical. This will reduce barriers to entry into the marketplace. In terms of intellectual property, there are no encumbrances in the patentability of Myopromin, either its composition of matter or its method of use. We intend to aggressively secure IP in this in defense of our idea. We're currently seeking $335,000 to fund production of Myopromin in a yeast platform. Total capital costs for the project are estimated to be $9.3 million over the next 5 years. In terms of other competitors on the market, we're competing against protein hormones, which are either made at great expense in the lab or isolated from animal tissues. As I already mentioned, antibiotics cause antibiotic resistance in human infections. We know this, but additionally, they actually increase greenhouse gas emissions from the animal. Both of these also have the weakness that the weight that's gained is not all in the valuable material of the carcass. Myropromin is not animal derived. It does not cannot lead to antibiotic resistance, and poses absolutely no threat to human or environmental health through its use. I'd like to thank our excellent team here at Proxima Research and Development, our awesome advisory team, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. I think you're on mute, Yanshi. There we go.
Thank you. I saw we were going back to Todd. My apologies. I was waiting to follow the lead here. First of all, a quick introduction. My name is Yuan. I'm an investor with the 51-foot and Agtech fund. We're an early stage VC, a $50 million fund investing in Agtech companies. Just really great to be here. And I wish that I'm with everyone in person next time. So Ian, great meeting you. My first question is, can you help me understand the financing strategy? $335,000, it seems it's a unique number, so I'm curious to learn more.
Absolutely. Well, that number is to help us in phase 2 of our project in terms of adapting the work that we've currently done and scaling that up for expression in a use platform.
Got it. Second question, which is a good segue. With the East platform, I'm assuming that you will need to form the IP, apply for patents. Can you help me understand your defensibility?
Yeah, well, so when we check the patent literature for people that have attempted to exploit the system, the best you can hope for is that no one's tried. Second best thing you can hope for is that people have tried and failed. We're in that second category, and we've overcome every major barrier that is extant in terms of commercializing this. In terms of delivery mechanism, it's not going to be an injectable, so we've surmounted that barrier, and we've decreased the cost of manufacturing by having it in the platform that we have. So,
sounds great. Which leads to my final question: with that IP as the plan that you have in mind, do you think you need a bit of more money than $335,000?
Absolutely, and that's where the other 9.3 million comes in. That's been rolled into that amount of money, and that 9.3 million is further development, further optimization, patent input, getting CROs involved and proving that it's as safe as we know it is, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Super clear. Those are all my questions. Todd, back to you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so for our second one, we have Super GeoAI technology. And for me personally, I think this is fairly interesting. Early in my career, I was a grain buyer, and knowing what was on farm and knowing what grade was really essential for us buying grain. And there really was a true cost in this. So with that in mind, I want to turn this over to Weiping Zhang to go over their solution in this area. Yeah, you got your slides up there, Weiping. I just gotta get your.
Just a few, one moment. Good evening. I'm Weiping Zhang, CEO of Super GeoAI Technology. We developed geospatial AI application to automate time-consuming manual tasks in agriculture, such as green grading and crop yield estimation. The current green grading system relies on visual-based manual tasks. It's time-consuming, inconsistent, and subject. For example, to create a forest stress damage, CGCC, the width, like the first photo is grade 1, the second one is grade 2, the third is grade 3. The subject grading leads to stress and commercial conflicts between buyers and sellers for many years. The grain industry has dreamed about affordable technology that can take a handful of wheat and quickly and accurately grade the quality for legal trade. Our GeoAI technology, farmers take a handful of wheat seeds, put them on a table, and take a photo. Our AI mobile application can count label, grade each seed in the photo within a few seconds. This gives farmers and buyers detailed information how the grain is graded. Our technology can reduce the average grading time from 1 hour to 5 minutes for a wheat sample. It can improve the accuracy and a digitized grain result. This year, Canada produced 55 million tons of wheat. More than 1.5 million samples need to be graded. The wheat grading sales cost us $75 million per year. Saskatchewan farmers say that the inaccuracy in grain grading are costing farmers hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Our technology can improve the grain grading system and provide more opportunities. More than 2 million non-dilutive government funding has been approved so far. We have created a 4 years roadmap, product roadmaps. In March, we released this Southern Canada with mobile application. In August, we released our green grading mobile application for farmers. Next year, we'll release our green grading machine for buyers. We're asking about 200 to 500,000 KL invest for this year and then 1 or 2 million next year. We use the investment to build our CGC licensed AI-powered green grading labs. The lab will provide us first-hand sample data and test validation our product accuracy. We will use the investment to hire new talent and match government funds. For many years, the grain industry has dreamed about affordable technology that can take a handful of wheat and quickly and accurately build the quality for legal trade. Our mission is to make the dream come true. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Zhen. First of all, I wanted to just highlight for a researcher and a technical entrepreneur to do the pitches, to do the business, lead the business. This is no small feat, and thank you for doing that. We're all here to support. So my first question to you, Dr. Zhen, is can you help us understand where you are developing the AI? In other words, what kind of data that you are using and where you're getting those data?
So for the data right now, we use our collect the sample from the farmers, and then we take the photo, use the smartphone, get the data by ourselves. But we also have partnered with one of the brokers so to have some data set from already licensed, like the third-party lab grading image is like the SGS already. But the most important one, we wanted to have our own laboratory, get the license. So we have make sure our result, the data, reach the laboratory level. So basically, we get the data by ourselves.
That's great. Second question to you is, can I invite you to tell everyone how much grant funding that you have?
Yeah, it's kind of about 2.5 billion grants. So we received 1.1 from Plain, and then we also received some from Innovation Saskatchewan AGF grants, and also Matex and the other. So we have about 2.5 million so far approved, and then we have about other million hopeful we are putting in 1 month or 2 months is in the final stage.
That's great. Third and final question to you. What kind of business support that you have around you right now to help with your business development and marketing? And we want to learn more about the business side.
Yes, so the business side, we are hopefully partner with some large company, for example, agriculture, arts company to go to the marketing. But at this moment, we just focus on developing the products and hopeful to hire one business developer in a couple of weeks. Right now, we're interviewing people. So hopefully they can help us to go to marketing strategy.
That's great. Thank you. Those are all my questions. Really great to see you, Dr. Zhen. Talk back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was a great presentation. So our third group coming up is Bander Industries. in a world where we see single-use plastics being banned, there seems to be a very unique solution coming out from this group. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Maurice Douglas.
Thank you, Todd. Am I looking good here on the screen?
You are. You're good.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. All right. So my name is Maurice, CEO and founder of Bender, a bio-based company that addresses 3 global issues: plastic pollution, food waste, water contamination, by transforming organic waste into sustainable solutions here in Canada. We identified a problem. The world is wasting food. About 1 trillion worth of wasted food every year in North America. About 2/3 of food goes bad before use, leading to food waste. Current food waste solutions often use plastic packaging and wax coatings on some fruits. Wax coating contains celiac, beeswax, carnauba wax, mineral oil, and morphine. Morphine is rated toxic and can result to health concerns over time. We introduced to you Kytoplax. Kytoplax is an edible coating that reduces food spoilages and does this by protecting against bacteria, mold, and other pathogens found in food products. We want to help reduce food waste worldwide by making groceries last longer without using chemicals or artificial ingredients. Kytoplax acts as a barrier that can reduce moisture loss and respiration, which maintain its quality. This method will extend the shelf life of fruits and vegetables. As you can see, Kytoplax with 16 days without compromising any taste or size, and with the uncoated, you'll see at 7 days completely with bacteria. With the with the packaging, we were looking to reduce the plastic waste by having edible films and microbial growth and to reduce oxidation prevention. We're looking to position ourselves in the food sector by helping farmers with the post-harvest sustainability, into manufacturing with the edible coating sprayed and applied on the conveyor belt as fruits and vegetables go by. In distribution, we're looking to mitigate loss of shelf life due to travel time, and just a routine buy for customers in the retail market. The market size is growing as there's 250 food distributors in Canada and 75,000 restaurants. It's an $85 billion transaction. And looking at alternative organic as edible coating is on the rise, and we like to position ourselves in the global market for food preservatives for extreme hot, cold climates. We are in the startup pre-seed phase, seeking capital investments to assist with product research and development, proof of concept, trials, intellectual property, and regulatory planning, along with staffing. Our ask is about $500,000. Right now, we're with the NRC working on fine-tuning our solution with the Science Technology Program of SAS Poly, and we get our advisory panel associated with AgWest Bio, International Sciences, and Forensic Labs. We have a small but very passionate team. Again, myself, Maurice Douglas, as founder and CEO, entrepreneur, 10 years in digital marketing, Erica Pierce, founder, co-founder, entrepreneur, 10 years in retail customer service. Through our team, we would like to constantly develop new ways to reduce waste. Join us on our journey to sustaining a brighter future. And thank you.
All right. Thank you, Maurice. First of all, I want to say, I deeply care about this issue. It's so from February the 1st to February the 18th, it's also the Black History Month. I wanted to acknowledge that first. And also, one of the second thing to acknowledge is I appreciate you adding a slide number on your deck. And for the entrepreneurs in the room, I highly recommend that, because it will make it super easy to navigate for your audience and for your speakers. So, Maurice, I have 2 questions for you. First of all, on your slide 7, where you talk about the value chain in the industry, if you can actually put it up for the audience as well. So who's the end payer, if you can help me understand, and who will influence that purchase decision? Where are you making money?
We're in the pre-seed right now, but we're looking to kind of penetrate the market with the restaurants. We're looking to make it an everyday use in times of the packaging of fruits and vegetables, when transportation and all 4 sectors.
Okay, That's helpful. The second question is, I saw that both you and Erica had, your co-founder Erica had many years of experience before this. How the two of you end up starting a food tech company, and because the two of you came from marketing and community and all that, so I'm curious to hear where was the story originally from.
Well, it started off with me being a vegetarian. I like to juice with my fruits and vegetables. So buying at a local grocery store, only to find out that your groceries are filled with mold before even using it is quite a turnoff. So yeah, we came up with a solution, and we kind of worked on developing a way to mitigate this type of problem. And yeah, we've just been working close ever since.
Great. And the two of you are currently owning a company? No other?
Yes.
It's helpful. Thank you. Final question is, how do you think about defensibility? And again, I understand that's early stage pre-seed, and you're still, I'm assuming, building your tech mode. So how do you think about defensibility, and how do you protect from competition?
We're looking into IP. Right now we're trade secret, but we're looking into IP for different parts, because we're moving into different applications for non-perishables and for other meats and other foods. So we're still in the process of patent pending.
Okay, that's helpful. And I also wanted to highlight Remy also just actually gave a really good question, similar to the one that we talked about, potential other companies. So I wanted to encourage you to take a look at those potential partners in the ecosystem. So those are all my questions. Todd, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're down to our final pitch from a company called, I think it's pronouncing correctly, Typha. So Typha has a very unique environmental solution, one that has some unique products, but it's also protecting the environment in Lake Winnipeg. And so anything that's going to protect the view at Grand Beach, I'm thinking is a very positive thing. So with that, Alec, it is all yours.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we've got it now. It's there.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. And I'll start now. Hi, my name is Sadek Masay. I'm the founder of Typha Co. We are capturing and upcycling nutrients into horticulture products. Lake Winnipeg is the 10th largest freshwater lake in the world, but it's also considered one of the most polluted. Agricultural runoff spills into the lake and causes toxic algal blooms. One of the reasons for all this runoff is linked to increased floodings. The image on the left depicts my beginning. My family almost lost our home to the flood of the century. Another flood of this magnitude could tip over the scale, and the lake's health might not be able to recover. Our solution is to capture agricultural runoff entering the lake by harvesting cattails. Large-scale harvest has been recognized as a critical step to save farm lakes and protect against flooding or droughts. We repurpose the runoff fertilizer by transforming the plant material that would otherwise be waste into horticulture products, such as biodegradable plant pots, soil growing media, and soil amendments. Our first product will be released this spring. We will be able to cost competitive with available products available in the prairies. The cost of goods sold for a garden mulch and soil amendment product is $4.78 per cubic foot. Apart from being cost competitive, our first two products will differentiate on the basis of creating positive environmental benefits and supplying beneficial nutrients. The cost of goods sold for a 4-inch flower pot is 2.5 cents. The growing media and flower pot market in Canada is worth 680 and 236 million respectively. There is currently a large market gap for sustainable organic growing media. Changing legislation, stricter emission targets, supply and security, and raising nutrient prices are key factors that will strengthen our market entrance. Peat moss is a non-renewable resource that further accelerates climate change and is currently being banned across Europe. There's a dwindling supply across Canada. Coca-Cola is a waste product imported overseas that performs poorly against Typha. In the short term, we are selling Typha soil amendment flower pots, potting mixes, and growing media. By the midterm, we will be expanding to seed pods and eventually accessing broader B2B eco-packaging markets, all of which can be further subsidized with carbon and water quality trading networks. Our distribution channel is twofold. On the B2B end, 2 major Canadian wholesalers will be distributing our products across their combined 1,700 retail stores. We'll also be selling directly to commercial growers and retailers. As for the B2C model, we will be selling on our website and fostering a subscription as a service model with 2 indoor growing systems. We've partnered with Strategic System Engineering to provide us with harvesting logistics and monitoring services through Earth GIS mapping. SSE also builds constructed wetlands for water retention and treatment, which can be drained in fall, providing accessible biomass with standard machinery. To this date, we've developed functional prototypes, validated proof of concepts, as well as fostered relationships with desired manufacturers and research bodies. Our multidisciplinary team is well equipped for the task. Our board of advisor will help us navigate critical decisions, avoid pitfalls, and provide reliable advice. We anticipate a net income of over $500,000 in our first year and above $4 million in year 3. We're looking to raise $279,000 to accelerate our impact, which will be invested in the above manner in exchange for nearly 5%. These funds will help us leverage an additional $500,000 from federal and provincial sources. We are also seeking mentorship to manage relationships with large companies to raise awareness and create a harvester co-op network. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the presentation. Oh, sorry, is there more?
No, that's it.
Okay, so thank you for this. And again, I know I'm the one holding everyone for beers and dinner. So I'm going to just take the time here. No, I'm just kidding. So Alec, I have 2 questions for you. First of all, I wanted to look a little further on the team. So you have a really good, executive and leadership team, and also you have, and I counted 8 people on the board. So how does the team work? Is it all full time, and then it's a board, all committed board members, and how do you make sure that you're moving fast and staying agile while keeping it a fairly lean team?
Yeah, that's a great question. At this point, there is 2 of our team members that are full time, and the rest is part time. As for the board advisor, we engage on them on a bi-monthly basis. So, every 2 months.
Okay, helpful. Thank you. Second question is on the business and then the market side. So, in one of the slides, you mentioned that you're selling potentially to vertical farms or influencers in the community. Can you help me understand a little bit more about your go-to-market?
Yeah, great question. So the approach really that we're trying to take here is a market pull strategy. So we've approached a multinational PMOS company, and essentially our product would be used as a filler for their many SKUs that they produce. And so we've done some research at this point that suggests that roughly 20 to 30% filler of our product with PMOS provides better growing results. So this partner that we've approached is really excited about that. Apart from that, we're planning to have letter of intents with farmers markets, garden centers locally here in Manitoba, and there's 2 major Canadian wholesalers that will be distributing our products across our combined 1,700 retail stores in Canada.
Okay, helpful. Final question is on the product side. So there was a slide where you laid out, all the comparisons among yourself and a few other competitors. What is the margin for your product right now? Because you only show the price of charging.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I did mention the cost of goods sold. So the margin quickly there. So are you talking about the garden mulch and soil amendment or the farm pot?
So I would say the core product that you're selling.
Okay. Well, the very first product is essentially we're making per cubic foot $4.50 roughly, and 1 bag is 2.4 cubic foot. So you times that by 2.4, and then for the flower pot, the retail price is $1.67 per 4-inch flower pot, and it costs us 2.5 cents to produce it.
Okay, and in terms of percentage of your cost to produce that, where are you at?
Sorry, repeat that.
So in terms of percentage of your margin to your cost, and again, I'm just asking because for AI companies, this is less of a metric compared to a hardcore, like a tangible product company. And I think as investors, that is a key metrics to learn from. And it's okay if you need to look into it, and you don't have to say the answer now.
Yeah, so it's roughly like 2% for the farm pot. Retail though, once you're selling this product wholesale, it's much smaller margins, but and for the soil amendment product, our margins are around 50%. Yeah.
Okay, so 15 or 15 or 50?
50.
Okay, 50. Got it. Awesome. Thank you. Those are all the questions. And again, thank you for your answers. With that, I'll pass it back to Hassan and Jesse.
All right, great. Well, thanks very much, Todd and Yuan, for wrapping up that final block. That was amazing. Jesse, we are done. I can't believe we got through this all.
Wow, yeah, quite the night. 19 pitches up, 19 pitches down. What an amazing top 20 pitch night here. It's just crazy. I just got to the after party, so I could probably hear it.
You teleported.
Right? Yeah, I just disappeared during the middle of those pitches and reappeared at the happy hour. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy decision. That was what a gambit of companies. And I just have to say thank you so much to everybody involved. It's not going to be an easy decision for us at all.
Yeah, so we're actually the ones standing between the beers and everything. So, yeah. But we can't wrap this up without saying a thank you to all the people involved that made this thing possible. Our organizing partners, we mentioned them already, Tallgrass Ventures, Thrive, Gap. I know I'm missing a whole bunch, Cultivator, Collabs, the 51, our best friends forever, CBRE, FCC, all the participants for tonight. We want to say great big thank you. All the co-hosts and the Q&As.
Absolutely.
Want to say thank you to our ops team, which we could not have done it without them. So big, huge shout out to Dom, who's our ops guy. And one other thank you I want to make here, Jesse, is that we were in Regina, we were at Innovation Place, and they hosted us live here for a watch party, and they let us watch all three sectors all at once, and provided all the great food. So I want to thank Jenna and Brent here at Innovation Place in Regina for hosting us. And a big shout out to CJ at Momentum Cafe for providing the great appies and drinks.
Yeah, that's right. So people know, not only were people watching here on this stream, they're also watching on YouTube. We had 30 to 40 people on YouTube watching. And then there was probably another 30, 40 people there, Innovation Place or more.
The count here was 90.
Holy cow! Oh my goodness! So many people watching this summit, right? And that's what's so exciting about TNT and the Agtech Investment Summit and any of the summits we do. So we're bringing the community together. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch these pitches today, for engaging in the chat, cheering on these founders. That's what it really takes to build a startup community, and that's what we're all about here at Startup TNT. It's so much more than just raising capital for these companies, right? They're going to need to keep raising capital, but they're also going to keep needing support. They're going to keep needing introductions. They're going to keep needing having beers with their friends at happy hours, right? So thank you so much for that. We had a few more people chip in. Prairie Vertical Farms threw some money in. We had a whole bunch more. I think Dom will throw them in the chat there. Thank you so much to everybody who chipped into the beer tab. We're going to keep it running all night long in the 5 Prairie cities. So join me here, right at Rook and Raven. I got a whole thing going here. I'm going to flip it around. Look at all these people already here.
Nice.
Filing in. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm excited. You're heading.
Yeah. In Regina, we're heading to Cathedral Social Hall after this. So if you're in Regina, join us there. That'd be great to carry the conversation at that place.
Absolutely. And don't forget, March 23rd, one of these companies is guaranteed to walk home with at least $150,000. Probably going to be more. We're also going to be investing in more companies if we got anything to say about it. We got all these VCs on this chat. They're going to be looking at these companies. We're going to find deals to do together. We're going to be looking to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. So join us there, March 23rd. It's going to be a celebration of ag tech in the prairies. You're going to have all the best people that you don't want to miss a chance to connect with. So come join us for that.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll say cheers and good night to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again on the 23rd.
Yeah, thank you so much. After party, Rook and Raven, Saskatoon, Cathedral Social. They're throwing up on the screen. So join us at one of these parties. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.